Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cutting Edge podcast. In today's episode, we have the pleasure of speaking with Bastien Coves, a prominent figure in the knife-making community and the mastermind behind Bastinelli knives. Hailing from France, Bastien has built a remarkable reputation for crafting high-quality tactical knives that seamlessly blend quality, fit, and finish with tactical blades. His expertise spans both classic knife-making techniques and modern materials, resulting in knives that are not only visually striking, but also extremely lethal. Bastien is particularly known for his contributions to the tactical and survival knife markets, often collaborating with other makers and experts with self-defense backgrounds to create incredible knives. His designs showcase a profound understanding of ergonomics and functionality. Beyond his work in knife making, Bastien actively engages with the community through social media, going to shows, sharing insights into his creative process, and emphasizing the significance of quality materials and design. His commitment to connecting with fans and customers has solidified Bastinelli Knives as a respected name in the knife industry. Join us as we delve into Bastien's design philosophy, the materials he loves, his inspirations, and his vision for the future of knife making. Bastien, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you drove up here.
Yeah, I drove up from Kissimmee, so pretty easy and good time.
For a lot of our viewers, we're in St. Augustine. Right now we're shooting out of Arizona Custom Knives warehouse. It's a pretty cool shop, and we're really excited that they're letting us shoot here. Quick couple of questions.
Yeah.
What's your favorite knife shape?
Fixed blade for sure, before folder, even if today you need to work a little bit on folder, but I would say fixed blade and generally with a little bit of curve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you carrying right now?
Right now, I have my collaboration with Microtech, the brachial,
Okay.
the one you know. I carry this one here exceptionally on my cargo pocket. That is an interpretation of the old school rapier or stiletto with a 3 hollow grind, triangle on the spike and push dagger. So that is the stuff I carry. And I carry my my Pew Pew made in America.
Yeah, very nice. I like it. Very nice carry. What's your favorite blade material to work with? Blade steel.
I would say because I started with that almost 15 years ago, the D2, because I love to work D2. At the beginning, D2 was really famous. Remember this period of time, if you don't have any blade on D2, you were a loser. So I was at this period of time when the D2 was the blade, the steel to have. And so I learned how to work on it, and I learned how to make the heat treatment on it. And so the D2 is the one I'm very familiar with, but today I adapt myself for all new steel in the market, MagnaCut, M390. I don't make all the process on those because I don't have the equipment to make the heat treatments, but I grind those, I sharp those, I mold those with a grinder to make the design. But I adapt myself, I would say, like every 3 years when the new steel arrive in the market.
Yeah, the new steel is always like, right now MagnaCut's the big thing.
MagnaCut is the one. MagnaCut will be probably really cheap and not interesting in the next few years, like maybe in 5 years MagnaCut will be the new 440 because a new one from the space is going to come very soon. But for the moment, MagnaCut is the one. MagnaCut M390 too. Lots of still a good success.
Yeah, I noticed that when the MagnaCut came out, my 154 CM no longer cut.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
It's almost there.
Right. So what inspired you to become a knife maker? Like, where does that come from?
Collectioner when I was kid. Simple loving knives since I'm a kid because probably of the background of my family. Father in the law enforcement, grandfather in the law enforcement. So I always have weapons around me in my family. And just collectioning blades during long time. And after my first daughter arrived, when she arrived in the earth, I was like, I wanted to change a little bit my my way, my life a little bit. And so 16 years ago, I decided to say, why not to make my own blade? I love blade, but I would love to know a little bit more about the process. So I learned about the process with two knife maker, two different knife smiths and knife maker during 3 years. And that is where I started to doing that. And my inspiration, like I would say, like lots of people from what I have in my hand since the beginning, what I watch on the table, because I have an impression we take a picture with your eyes and your hand every time you take something. It's some kind of memory. That was my first inspiration, and what I love, I would say, what I watch on the movie. That was really the beginning. Everybody wants to start to make a Rambo knife. I don't know why, or some kind of. I started to make a kitchen knife at the beginning, and very traditional, simple design, and step after step, I decided to take the way to more something that look like what I love the most, more tactical, more something like a little bit more sport line for people military and law enforcement. So that was the direction I take. Additional of the martial side I have too, and I mix a little bit of everything to do that. Yeah.
Are you still doing any form of like kitchen knives or any type of?
No, not anymore. I really completely focus on utility blade. I don't know if it's because the market is already like full of lots of bad things and incredible knife already. Because you have both really, really incredible kitchen knife already in the market, good brand, good quality, and I think you can't too much express yourself on kitchen knife. You have to stay a little bit like logical, because it's for one and unique function. Go in the kitchen. You can make some crazy line, but if you put that in the hand of someone and they're like, "Oh, I cut with that," don't make any sense. So you have a little bit more like fantasy and possibility to express yourself from other blade and other martial discipline than kitchen knife. Kitchen knife is discipline about the line and logic. So I let that for other. Why not one day? But for the moment, no.
Interesting. Yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, obviously, something like this, maybe not the best
No.
in the kitchen.
No, you're going to cut a tomato, but if you have to do the kitchen during a few hours, not is not the best.
Right,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
For a lot of makers, they reach a pivotal moment in their career. What would you say was a pivotal moment in your career that maybe shaped you back towards these more radical designs and blade shapes?
Alors, it's funny you take this one, the Mako. Mm-hmm. The Mako is a mistake, a pure mistake. The Mako don't look like absolutely like this at the beginning. The Mako was just a ring with the handle just like this.
Okay.
The handle here was like completely full here, full of metal here, and the shape here was a little bit different. Was more straight. It was more like something like a spear. And I made a mistake on the grinder. I hit a little bit too much because I wanted to make double edge, and I hit a little bit too much on the back. So I say, okay, let's go to do that. And so I changed a little bit the shape, and changing the shape, and changing the shape, and changing the shape. And in my last workshop, my workshop was in the garage. So imagine a door like the one we have on the back here. Mm-hmm. My door was open, and so all the light from these doors, the rest was pretty in the dark. So every time I need to check the line, the pure line, I put that on the contrast, and I have all the detail of the line. I was like this and working on that, and I was like this working on it. And at the end, I find this line like this. And my friend who was with me at this time, Umberto, who is a good friend of me, he looked at me, he said, "Bro, he looked like the teeth from the shark, the Mako." And I say, "Okay, let's go. Let's go, it's cool. I like the line." And this one is a pure mistake. Some other are really something from the paper, something I think lots of hours on the drawing. But this one is a pure mistake.
It's one of my favorite designs from you. I have a custom one at home.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. So it's funny to see that from a mistake comes beauty.
Yeah, and I explained this story for some other chef and some people. And some people explain me like some recipe came from some mistake. Good recipe in kitchen from some mistakes. Sometimes you additional too much sauce and too much stuff, and you taste. You say, "What I did is so good." So it's about that.
So a lot of your philosophy, I guess, stems from the self-defense and the tactical line. And so, what other factors are you considering when you're designing these besides blade shape?
To understand the philosophy behind that is first because I'm from another country, in France, everything is forbidden. You can't carry anything over there. So you can buy everything you want. That is pretty funny. They have no really rules about what you can buy, about blade shape, push dagger, OTF, everything you want, balisong. Everything is legal to buy, but you can't carry anything, even like a sample, like a friction folder, anything with blade identified like a knife, it's completely illegal. So because of that, some of us over there continue to have this spirit of loving blade and carry them.
Sure.
So we need to carry some blade and create some blade easy to carry and easy to hide somewhere. So that is why at the beginning the shape of my blade was a little bit aggressive for what I love to design, but I have to stay small and compact and light because you spend more time to carry it than use it. You need to be comfortable and easy to hide. That was the beginning of the concept. And after meeting different people, talking with different experts, like you say at the beginning, who want me to design for them, I take a little bit of everything and change a little bit some shape, open my mind, open my mind on some other kind of design. And of course, arrive here in the United States 8 years ago. Yeah, when everybody arrive and say, it's too small. Here we carry bigger. Here it's too small. So you have to adapt, you change a little bit your routine. And yeah.
Interesting. So that when you're carrying in the pocket would be perfect for true concealed carry, for sure.
This one, everything at the moment you can hide. This one is only like 50 grams, so it's nothing, you feel nothing, and it's a pure self-defense tool. But yeah, depend on what you want, depend where you live. It's still the same configuration. It's always we try to make one blade for everybody, but you can't actually, because if you live in New York, they have some rules too, and if you live in Wyoming, the rules are different. But you can have two dudes over there who love blade and want to buy this blade, but one can carry it, the other one can't, just because of the dress code. If you work at the bank or you work at the farm, your dress code is different. So one is easy to carry a big fixed blade or small one. The other one you have to hide between the shirt or somewhere in the back. You know what I mean? The combination is different. So we try to play with that a little bit. And women too. Men and women are different too. So
what's it like working with some leading manufacturers such as, Tony Marfione and Microtech Knives? You've got this wonderful design that you and our brother have created. It's got really sweet designs. Tell me a little bit about what went into this, what this was.
So first, my first collaboration with Microtech, with Anthony, was with Iconic, the Karambit, a few years back. Anthony was always around my table for every show. I have a chance to cross him, but he never stayed too long. And every time he come to say hi, and even like when I started like 15 years ago, my first show, he came around, he said, I love what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. He was always like very busy. He's a busy man. Yes. And one day he stayed a little bit longer at the Gathering USN in Vegas, and we talk, and we talk a little bit more, and we say, you know what, let's plan a date and let's go to talk a little bit more serious. So I have this chance to go at the office, and he showed me the stuff, and the first little test he asked me is to give me a paper and the pen, and he said, draw me something and tell me what you can do. And I already have because that is my process, I already have 100 design in my head. So it was in 5 minutes I was able to design the Iconic. And he said, okay, let's go. So that was the beginning of how we decided to do the stuff together. And the brachial, to come back on this one, the brachial is inspiration of the chopper. The other Skinner I designed. It's a fixed blade I have on my DNA since a long time on my collection, and we decided doing that because they have some Persian design already in Microtech, but they don't have any too much Persian blade like this on this kind of shape. So I designed it to mix that, and yeah, I think the balance plus additional of the technology from Microtech, the spring is insanely strong and crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, this blade is really, really, really good. That is why it's the one I carry. It's really good shape, incredible quality, and yeah, that was the beginning of another kind of my first automatic blade. So those are chance.
Very interesting. So your design process, you started touching on that briefly. Do you start from paper? Do you start
always? I have a few books. I draw good idea and bad idea, but all my idea come on the book. Sometimes I draw some stuff and I say, wow, that is cool. And I say, no, that is actually Benchmade. you draw, you finish the stuff and you look and say, oh my God, that is not good. That is already in the market. But sometimes you draw something you additional. So at the beginning, I would say 10, 15 years ago, I started to draw. And when I started to draw, it was I really wanted to find my own DNA. My own goal And it's probably, I don't know if it's some kind of problem of ego or something like. My own goal wanted to put 100 blade on the table without any logo, and someone can look the blade and say that is a Bastinelli. That is a big challenge, I think, today in the industry with all those knife maker and all those big industry who create to produce knife after knife after knife after knife, and to make the difference, just by a shape, just by a little touch on the line, something we can say like, I recognize that. That is a little bit like almost like what Fred Perrin did during, he continued to do during 30 years. We are able to touch and say, okay, that is a Fred Perrin style. That is a Michael Janis style. That is a Microtech style. And I wanted that for me too. So I focused myself on that. So at the beginning, my inspiration from a little bit everywhere. And when I started to have my own line, my inspiration from my first drawing, from my first knife, and again. So all those line follows the one I made a little bit in the past with a little bit of changement. And of course, a little bit of mood for the new year. Every time some people come with some kind of style, the recurve one, the pical, and all the kind of curve blade and stuff like this. So yeah, that's beginning paper, really important to draw good idea and bad idea. And when one talk to me, I go directly at the shop, draw with a Sharpie on the piece of steel, and bond saw, grinder, check the shape to be sure the ergonomy really important. I working with during a long time, people were surprised about the ergonomy of my blade because I learned that from my mentor, Christian Moretti, the one who teach me the knife smith at the beginning, because I started to forge blade at the beginning, to work with Play-Doh. You know, the wax like the Play-Doh for the kids. Mm-hmm. We working a lot with Play-Doh when we were at this training center. Okay. And I use the Play-Doh during a long time. Just take a block of Play-Doh like this, press my hand like this, or press my hand like this on it, put that on the table, and check what it look like, because that is actually the natural ergonomy. And I put that on the table, and I started to draw what I see, and to make some drawing, because when you do that on Play-Doh, it look really like terrifying. It's not, the design is not good, but you can read something, the printing of your finger, the middle finger, the rest of the stem, the shape, the pressure, you have more here than here. So you understand what's going on inside the hand. You understand when you have the blade in your hand, but to create that, you do that. So I started to doing that a lot. Is that helping me to have those ergonomies, the Raptor L, with the shape of the blade a little bit lower than the handle, because when you press like this, you have this kind of curve. So that is another process I use a lot.
Wow, incredible. So this mentor again, what was their name?
Christian Moretti.
Christian Moretti. You have any other influential people?
Oh yeah, Christian Moretti was the first one, because he offered me the possibility to create one blade in 1 week. So I arrive on Monday and I make my first forge kitchen blade during 1 week. And that is where I discover this feeling creating with your hand and the magic link with the steel. And Christian Moretti was my teacher during 2 years. And after you have François Bignon. François Bignon is another French knife maker, but he worked on stock removal. He was working on the CPM 154 and very modern steel, not forging, so stainless steel. Working a lot with the grinder, with the Christian Moretti, working more with files, not too much grinder, more with the forge. And that was my really base on teacher. And after my inspiration, because when you do that, you met different people and you started to be connected with different people. You started to know this guy is a big name on the industry. So I met Fred Perrin. Fred Perrin was a huge step for me to understand, because behind the design of Fred, you have experience too. And Fred brings this experience with him everywhere you go. You can talk to him behind the table at the blade show. He can talk to you during like 30 minutes about some training, some stuff happened with the blade and why he did that and blah, blah, blah. And you have some crazy story. And so Fred was a huge inspiration about ergonomy and style of blade and why this style of blade. I have an explication behind the design, really something deep. Pierre-Henri Monet. It's lots of French people because I spend lots of time over there. But Pierre-Henri Monet, another knife smith, really famous in France, works on forge blade, convex. He teach me how to make convex grind. That is why, like, almost full of my custom blade have convex grind. He teach me that. So, and all those blades are like razor crazy, and it's a cool technique to learn. when you know how to make hollow grind. Flat grind is cool, but convex is a little bit of exercise. Is interesting, challenging. And yes, so all those people, I would say for the knife smith aspect and artisan kind of style. But of course, after I was a big collection guy, so Microtech. I'm a Microtech collectioner since I'm almost 11. So I have some collection, and I show that one day to Tony, my little bag from some blade I have when I was like 12 or 13, and some stuff with a very specific serial number. But this kind of blade was really modern for me. Everything smelled like machine. Was some stuff I didn't have access. So it was an inspiration later, particularly when you started to visit the shop over there. You see some technique, you see some code, some way to process, and you are like, okay, that is another level. Like, okay, that is another way to do it. So every if I can say that, but I would say I visit lots of shop, lots of place, big industry, and little shop from little artisan. And I would say like every knife maker, we all of us work in the huge kitchen. We have exactly access to the same ingredient to make our own recipe. Some kitchen are a little bit more high-tech than others, but at the end, what we prepare is something like really specific. Some recipe looks the same, we use the same ingredient, but for some reason, someone put a little bit more than that than the others, and the taste is completely different and look completely different. So I love to compare that like this. We have different skills, but all of us work in the same kitchen. And some are more comfortable to make that with that. And yeah, Microtech. I have some other knife maker here where when I was really inspired just by the way the marketing. When you check Cold Steel, Lynn Thompson.
Yeah.
If you are a knife maker or if you are a knife aficionados, if you don't tell me you never have any kind of crazy like emotion when you see Cold Steel and Lynn Thompson cutting this pig and throwing this blade and do all the stuff. Everybody has this kind of moments. Yeah, it was a huge like, okay, so if I want to sell knife, I need to find some meat. It was a huge inspiration. It changed the marketing, I would say.
Yeah.
There have some people like this who arrive and change the marketing on the industry or change the way to make a blade. I have plenty of other people in my head, but I can't say all those people. Even sometimes a discussion from 10 minutes from someone can change a little bit of your process. But I met few people on different blade show, and yeah, they have some really high level over there.
You've really drawn inspiration then from a lot of different places.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, because you have to stay open mind. Before me they have people who make blade, and after me and during and after they're gonna have people who make blade. So we are just a name. We try to share some stuff, and after we disappear. Some people probably gonna keep our blade for a long time, and some people are gonna probably forget about us. You know, there have how many people who have been in this industry and nobody remember them. So we have just to enjoy the moment and sharing the most we can, enjoying the moment too, and we'll see.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. When you think about craftsmanship that goes into these knives,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on, like, how do you maintain your standards? Like, how do you keep pushing yourself to produce things that look so beautiful like this?
Not everything is easy. I would say like they have some period of time when I have no inspiration at all. It's very, very bad. But because my mind like work all the time, and I try to fusion some angle, and I sometimes and it's true when you check the Yummy, who's just here, the first that is another name too, Trackerdan, the another man who do lots of like wrapping and under like this, was my first like wow. When you take the shark in your hand and you have a blade, the name is a shark. You have this ergonomy, this old school ergonomy from the back, almost like a guard, and that from some really old school dagger. You have that in different kind of culture, because if you want to enjoy some design too, you have to go in really far in the past. Buy some book, go to see some museum. We're talking about the Randall Museum like a few minutes before. and you see some inspiration from the past, from World War II, World War One, and few century before, because it's the most oldest tool in the world. So you have the impression we almost create nothing. We just repeat and make a new interpretation of something old.
Yeah.
So that is what it is. On that, my first thought was that, okay, it's almost a guard from here, because this hook catch your hands so fast. They already have some few blade like this in the market, and my idea was to create my own interpretation about that with my own grip, and yes, create this curve will make you safe. And I love aggressivity, and it's true that this one, the mix of the Persian you can find actually on the Mako, and almost the Persian you can find on the chopper. I wanted to create that, and this little tooth here gives this kind of look really aggressive, and so it's a mix, and depend my mood too. I have to be honest with that too. If I'm on the good mood on my personal life or on my professional life or something like that, I design something generally pretty specific. And if I'm on the mood on something like more aggressive or more like sad or mad, my direction go completely other way. I think is because we still like very inspired by what's going on in our life. Depend on the creation. I would say like almost like someone who create music. You have some kind of moment like this. Yeah. Your music is different, depend what's going on in your life. So I have a book, and like I said, this book saved almost like all my creation, because good and bad design, I put that on it, and even if it's a bad idea, sometimes I come back on it and I draw a little bit more. I add another paper. So that is where from all those repetition and all those new stuff coming every time who look like new, but are not really new. Some drawing coming on 2024, 2023, but it's maybe a drawing I made like maybe 3 years before, 4 years before.
So this one was a prototype. So on your prototypes, do you have any kind of changes that happen for the production line? Or?
Sometimes. This one, no. This one, at the moment, I designed this one, and Fox, because we work with Lion Steel and Fox since 2010 now, 2010. And so we design, and when we did for all our collection or production collection is manufactured in Italy. And so when Fox send me those prototype, they have some prototype who change completely from the final stuff, but some prototype are like very perfect after test, after looking, after ergonomy, and you have different process actually. When I draw the blade, I like the design, so okay, I make the 3D, I make the live blade on custom. I check the live blade and I say okay, and I send the drawing and sometimes the prototype over there, and they do the prototype in production. But it's maybe weird, and some people are not always agree about that. But the look is really important. And if you check sometimes, some blade who work and generally keep the best work, I generally don't have a good look. It's really funny. If you come back in the past, some kind of dagger or from the war was pretty ugly. Today we need a little bit, but they make the job. Because in a period of time they have one blade for everything.
Right. 2
hands, to fight, to like a tool. And today the aesthetic take a huge space. We come back a little bit more something simple. Simple design are really always the best and the secure way to make a blade. But today the design make a huge space on the choice we made. So for me, looking something who talk to me, say, okay, that is the first step. After taking my hand, I say, okay, the look is good, the ergonomy is good, so that makes sense. Okay, talk to me about the steel. Wow, okay, bam, bam, bam. But if you look something and you take the stuff in your hand, you say, holy moly, how you put that in your hand? You have an angle everywhere, you don't know how to do that, the blade is too heavy on one side and the other. Right. You say, well, it's just good on the table, actually. They have lots of blade like this. Bad balance, good design, but bad balance, bad thought, bad configuration. The grind is like this instead of it be thin. We are more close to the screwdrivers and the blade, but everybody have his own definition to this. That is why we need to be open-minded. But if you want my real opinion, that is...
Before you were talking about convex grinds. How are those done? How are those achieved?
So very very simple. My friend teach me with a yoga pant, the yoga mat, the yoga mat like this.
Okay.
He have the yoga stuff, the really thick one. So we put that. We put the some kind of little protection on it to I don't remember the name in English, but we put a little protection on it to be sure the belt don't burn it.
Okay.
And because the yoga mats have a little bit of smooth like this, I start with a flat grind, and when I'm almost there, I continue with the stuff. So naturally, when I make pressure, you're gonna do this kind of curve like this.
Yeah.
And seeing that, they have plenty of new form. Even that, even that can be a good, almost like something good. You can almost working on it. But the yoga mat is the one I use the most. So that is the way I use it since a long time.
Very interesting. So you're using some very common materials to
Yeah.
get a new type of grind.
Oh yeah. I can. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna to use. I use some silicone, carbon stuff like this. No, it's a yoga mat. I go to Dick Sport and I cut the yoga mat like on triangle. I put that like this, and it makes the job perfectly since the beginning.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna basically. So what do you see the future of knife making like? And kind of like bouncing off what you're saying there is. Sounds like unique ideas, but what other things do you see coming into knife making in the future?
Actually, the material, I think the material like changing a lot. Some people like use more new material, and that never been done in the past. Some very futuristic finishing, strong material never used before in the knife industry. That is something I see that grew up pretty quick. After about design, particularly on fixed blade, I think I'm not going to say we arrive almost on what should be done, but it's almost there because if you talk about functional blade, okay? After, if you want to talk about some blade you put just on the top of your kitchen just to look cool, that will be like you have plenty of idea. Like this, you can go like it's almost a car you put in the parking, but you can drive with.
Right.
This is almost that. That you can go everywhere with that, and we can go on 2 or 3 century more. But for something functional of fixed blade, I'm very curious to see what's going on folder actually, and I'm not a huge fan of folder. I don't want to miss his name, but it's Cardwell, Jason Cardwell.
I don't know him.
The guy, he designed some blade for Cercati, the karambit when you push from it's Caswell. I'm sorry if I miss his name. Joe Caswell.
Yeah.
Exactly. Joe Caswell is awesome guy. Every time we talk, and I fucked up his name, but he makes this unique and new configuration of opening karambit. They have plenty of wave karambit, and it's very ingenious. Don't make me wrong. The wave karambit is ingenious. The Bram Frank opening system is ingenious. But this one, when you think nobody can make a new opening system, you arrive with this kind of function with friction like this, and you are like, okay, so not everything is done already. Like they still have people thinking. You have this French knife maker. His name is Torpen. I think he's gonna be at the Blade Show Utah, and his mind work always like try to push a button, you do that, and all these guys who almost like mix the watch configuration and opening system with the knife. I think we have some good future about those guys who love to put some crazy stuff on mechanism. Mechanism will put some good stuff. Microtech makes the new OTF with no game on it, with no gap on it. Yeah. That was almost never done before. All the OTF in the market you see have a little bit of move. Mm-hmm. They have no game on anything. They are like clean.
I know. And
so you can always
easy to fire.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. So I think mechanism and material will be probably the new future stuff. But when you're still enjoying fixed blade, they still have a place for that. But maybe too much stuff in comment.
Looking at the knife scene as a whole, I think for a lot of new makers, it can be a little intimidating. You've never made knives before, or you're just getting into it, and you think you want to be a knife maker. What kind of advice would you have for new knife makers?
No space anymore. You can't come. No space. It's funny because I talk about that with one of my friends, and we say they have space for everybody for sure. We try to explain ourselves behind the design, behind an art, the making art of the knife making, but they started to have lots of people actually. Even the dude alone in his garage who have a job during all week, he do some crazy blade during the weekend and arrive at the table, and you are like, they started to have lots of names. So of course they have a place for everyone. I would say, and it's the most complicated challenge today. Do your best to do something will represent you, but do your best to make something unique. Like I explained since the beginning, the DNA of the blade. If you are here to just copy what is already made and promote some lying new concept, no, it's not interesting. But if you are here to show something new, to share something new, to share something never done since a long time, okay, that is interesting, because at the end we are just a huge community. I love, and it's not a joke. I love to see those people coming at the blade show, even when they don't come on my table, because this community, you see like waiting line like this. You see dudes sleeping behind the door like during 24 hours just to buy one unique blade. Yeah. And if you are one of those new dude who makes those people waiting outside, I would say, yes, come, bro. We need you. Yeah. We need you. If you have something new and everybody wants, we need you, because a dude like me can do what you're doing, but a dude like me needs some dude like you who brings some people and still this community alive. Yeah. Because I know in the middle of that, I will be able to make my business. Mm-hmm. So yeah, bring something new, bring something like we can feel something is like from nowhere.
Coming out of COVID, I mean, COVID was a big boost for the knife industry, for sure. Coming out of COVID, have you noticed any new trends coming out of COVID? Or maybe a knife retraction or a recession, if you will, or any kind of pullback in marketplace?
COVID was huge. I would say like the everything come back before, like just a little bit before that. Like, when people was like enthusiast on the website, enthusiast on buying online, and lots of traffic during the show. We saw that recently. Like the show was like more intense than what it was before. We saw some slowdown. Don't make me wrong, because it's actually not only about the COVID, but traveling started to be more and more expensive. So people pay attention on that. But yeah, we saw a huge difference between this period when people were stuck online and nothing to do and can't go outside, so spend lots of time to buy. Yeah.
How does social media work for you nowadays? Do you deal with any shadow banning? You do?
Yeah. But if you know what we're doing that since a long time, and we have a different communication. We use gun on picture, and we use some beautiful lady sometimes we use the charm always sell a little bit. So yes, those two elements, even if it's can be just pure art and just an illustration, those stuff give a hard time sometimes on social media. And when you started to make some demo too, I have some demo online when I cut dummy or I cut stuff, and deployment, when you make some simulation about carry blade in the street and you started to have some speech like this, it's complicated. It started to be more and more complicated.
So you're getting more post flag?
I have a little bit more post flag, but we started to come back approximately to normal, because I play with some stuff to be sure I stay on the line, and sometimes I push a little bit some old stuff, and I'm like, okay, you look cool, okay, and we play a little bit. We'll see.
Do you see any other platforms other than Instagram as being beneficial to you?
YouTube. At the beginning, a long time, YouTube was my platform. Facebook, like the weird stuff about Facebook. I have a weird community on Facebook. People are really weird on Facebook. I don't know why.
It's a very personal place.
Oh, it's crazy. The comments are dumb, really deeply dumb. It's really, really weird. But yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about this one. This is a collaboration between you and Doug McCarter, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the genesis of that.
So the Pika. So the Pika is a number 2. Is a project number 2 I did with Doug. And at the beginning we made the straight one, the scalpel one, because Doug showed me a picture of a broken scissor he had when he was kids. And really, the one you use for the nail, a broken scissor, completely like destroyed, but one half part of it. And he sent me this picture. He said, "What do you think about that?" And I say, "Okay, let me think about that." And 4 days after, I designed the Pika. And I designed the Pika like half part of the scissors, but a little bit bigger, but look like a scalpel, because Doug, before to be a famous tester knife on TV, he was a nurse. He working at the hospital.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So because of that, I mix the scalpel from his past and stuff like this. That is why I explain to lots of people. They say every project from one idea. But if Doug shows these scissors, this broken scissor I have for 10 different knife makers, maybe we're going to have 10 different interpretations.
Yeah, sure.
So that is where our DNA is really important. But we make the first straight one. And after, we decided to make the traditional karambit, more the curve, the claw. Mm-hmm. That is inspiration of the diagnostic blade we have. We have the diagnostic blade. It's a small claw we have with a little ring here. It's 2-finger grip. And I mix the diagnostic with the same kind of shapes than the picker, but curving, because Doug is a big Mako karambit guy. He's famous for that.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Where do you come up with some of the names for these? Like this one, the Grumpy.
Yeah, that is
where we get
grumpy, because some people who know me, I can be grumpy sometimes, and all people who know me pretty well, it's happened. I can be like I have my temper. Mm-hmm. And I have, since a long time, I put generally like some character and some mood on every name, because I think that's funny. At the beginning, I do like everybody doing. I put some animals name, because it was like fun to call raptor, the rhino. But after like 25 raptor in the market and 65 rhino, we said, okay, it's time to be more personal. So I started to put those kind of name like this, and some names come from really, really like simple conversation, stupid conversation I can have with my, like I told you, this one, Mako. Why? Mm-hmm. Because he see me doing that. He say, "Oh, you look like the chief of the Mako." Yeah. Deal. Boom. Deal. Let's go. Sometimes it's quick. My friend Nico, who shared the show with me lots of time, we have sometimes really stupid conversation, and we laugh a lot, and sometimes we go really far on the process of idea, and sometimes say, okay, let's go for that just for fun. Right. And so a
lot of emotion shows in your work. What other challenges do you have as a maker? I mean,
most challenge I have right now is to I think it's just to keep going on my creativity. Like really, of course, I want to doing something new. I want to go outside my comfort zone, and I do that a lot, particularly with all my collaboration. My collaboration put me always outside my comfort zone, because you bring someone from outside and say, "I would love that and that and that," and you are like, "Okay, I never did that before. Okay, let's try." But I think, and I tried before to go really outside my comfort zone, and you can see that on my work generally is ugly, and that didn't work. So because I know myself, I will stay probably on the creation of design like this, designing, make something logical, functional, and who talk to someone. That's going to stay my goal for that. And after, continuing to do what I love to do and see.
When you make knives, do you think about price? Does price enter your mind, like what the end price for the user will be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now we know it's easy for us because we work with manufacturer made in Italy, so it's not made in Asia or made in China stuff. A long time ago, the difference was huge between the made in Europe, the made in Asia, the made in USA. Today, it's not the same at all. You have some made in China who are almost the same clothes than the made in USA. Because they no joking, they approve a high quality of work. You have some made in China blade, you are like, oh my God. And that is and after you still have this very concurrency price when some people make some made in Asia blade and the blade is still cheap and the quality is high. And you are like, how I can fight that?
Right.
Because you can try to check the blade. You are like, everything look perfect. Is it only $150 full like integral titanium and blah 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 blah. So yeah, I think about that. I try to stay. I wanted during a little bit of time going outside my zone of fabrication, like I go more in China, and we did one or two projects over there, just to see what's going on in the market, and if people like it and appreciate the stuff, because we want to. It's complicated for us to receive an email say, "Man, I love your blade, but I can't afford it," and you are like, "Okay, let me see what I can do," without to be like too much like low and destroy the work I do since few years. But yes, we know the Italian price, we know the Italian quality, and we stay behind our design a lot and our price. So if you like it, you are ready to make the price and to put the stuff, it's okay. I know for some people put money on the side during few months and come to you. That is crazy for me when people say, I wait since few months, I put money on the side just to buy this blade. Those kind of people are like, like put you some kind of really emotional time at the table when they come and say he waits since few months to buy this blade. He put the money on the side. You are like, thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's a blade. It's a money you put on my blade and not on the food or something for your kids or your family. So you have to stay humble about that. But yeah, we think about that a lot.
So feedback from your customer in that way really matters a lot for you. It's the biggest honor.
Because they are everything. If tomorrow they are not behind this door, you open the blade show and nobody is over there. We are all like a 200 knife maker, like talking about, how you doing today, bro? You want to buy my blade?
Right.
No, we need them. We need them. Of course, we sell pleasure because we are in the really pleasure industry. It's not a necessity. We have only two hands, and all those people have probably 100 blade already. Mm-hmm. They don't need more. Right. You know what I mean? Like it's just a stimulation. It's a dopamine. It's an endorphin. It's a collection. It's something we need. We love. It's a pleasure. And today we are lucky to have to still have that. So when people continue to have pleasure, to share, to buy, and be the new owner of those creation on my blade, of all of the other blade, it's okay too. Like it's normal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Custom orders. Do you get customers who will ask you to make things?
In the past, yes. We closed those stuff long time ago. It was he asked a big discipline. When I'm on the mood to do some stuff, and someone arrives, say I would love to doing that, and I'm like, no, I don't want to grind that today. And you are like, I don't want to come back on this blade, or I don't want to doing that. So, and after time, it's a huge discipline. When it's one blade is one thing, but at the end of before we leave for the United States 9 years ago, I have almost 1 year and a half of waiting list of custom.
Wow.
So that means almost every day I was my job was to make blade. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to do it anymore because I already make 100. And my motivation was to make something new, but I did not have time to make something new. So I said, no, it's not good. It's not good. So I stopped into doing that, and we make only custom blade for the show.
Cool. So before we were talking about different types of steel and how those fads come and go.
Yep.
What kind of trends are you seeing right now besides knife steel that have entered the knife community over the past several years? Anything that pops out to you? Anything that you want to remark on?
About steel?
No, just about knife trends in general and how you see the industry going. If you're noticing any trends in the industry that are.
No, I saw lots of people doing some crazy projects for sure, and people really addict about that. Those donuts or dog blade, like those stuff like this, really really funny.
Right.
Those challenge coin,
yes.
Really like a huge stuff.
Sure.
Even if you don't understand, you are like, man, it's cool. Like all those people buy those stuff and make the waiting line for that. But no, except that, no, I didn't see any kind of nothing more crazy than usual. Every blade show I take lots of stuff on my eyes. Like, wow.
Will we ever see sprinkles on a Bastinelli?
No, I don't think so. No, nothing so. No, even if it's cool, don't make me wrong. If someone want to do it by himself, let's go. Enjoy, bro. But you're not going to have that on my table. No.
Fair enough.
No.
So you really are steadfast in the look that you want. Again, you want people to be able to see that knife and know That's a Bastinelli knife.
Yeah, design and finish and all the stuff. And like I say, after is not to be against what's going on and what people like. Actually, the guy who worked for me, my guy Brian, is a really cool guy. He pushed me to do some purple. I'm not doing too much color, but since few years now and a few months, he pushed me to do some purple. So I was leaving the shop one day and I come back and he make one purple handle without to tell me.
Oh boy.
And he put that on the table and he say, "What you think about that?" And I'm like, "It's ugly, bro. It's really ugly. It's purple. I don't want to make any purple handle." And we have a conversation with someone who wanted to buy that. He said, "It's purple. I buy it directly." And he started to make more purple before every show. And it's funny. And the funny part, and I have to be honest, it's almost the first blade who leaves the table. And I'm like, what? No, I don't want to curse too much, but you know what I mean. It's possible. But yeah, we did the maximum exotic. I will say I will go. We did a little bit of color, and it's because people push me to doing that. But Brian is responsible about that. Yeah.
Who does? I noticed you have a lot of really cool manukis, especially in these custom pieces.
Yeah.
Who's doing your manukis?
GD Skull is a jeweler in Europe,
Okay.
and he does. We work with him since 10 or 11 years. He do our Minuki, he do our Zippo case. He did few stuff for us, a few beads. Yeah.
How has technology helped you, or maybe it hasn't? Maybe you haven't adapted any new technology. But how has technology overall helped you in designing knives and making knives?
Like you say, I have no technology in my shop. Like everything is pretty old school. I have only fork grinder, bond saw, sandblast machine, oven, and drill press. The only technology I have is my engraving machine to engrave. The rest, and my Kidex machine is a very traditional press with form. Everything, the huge industry like Microtech, Fox, or Lion Steel can bring me about look. That helped me because sometimes when you are too basic, you are like, oh, I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm going to do that. They say, oh, yeah, you show me with this machine, with this CNC, you can do this kind of shape. So let's go for this kind of shape. For sure, now today, the possibility you can do by milling machine and CNC help you to go a little bit more modern, all those 3D on the handle, easy to do. And all those shapes, those curves you can do now pretty easier on the grinding machine. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it helped. The innovation helped to bring more idea.
Very cool. Very cool. Are there any interesting projects that you want to share with us that might be coming up in the future? Anything that you're working on?
So we have one fixed blade in prototype coming between September and October. Will be almost the same handle than the Yummy, but with more like a utility blade because people like complain about the aggressivity about the blade. So we wanted something more like same grip, safe, but more easy to use in every occasion. We still have our collaboration and more coming about the F bag with the Paladin, our first made in USA, full made in USA fabric collaboration we made, accessory. And we'll see. Yeah, few collaboration coming. I can't talk too much right now. Some stuff on movie too, because we get lucky to have some blade in the movie. That was cool.
Very nice. Congratulations.
So it's been few projects the past few years. So it's cool.
Nice.
So we'll see.
Is that the bag that has the knife hidden in the?
Yeah, so this one I didn't put any knife on it, but this one is a concept. You have the X here, and you have you hide the fixed blade, a little push dagger or little fixed blade here on the back, like this is close to you, and like this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, very nice. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. What? And there was some inspiration in that, right? You had was I hearing that it was your grandfather maybe, or someone had an older bag?
You're talking about So you're talking about the I asked to Paladin. I have this huge duffel bag from my grandpa he used during World War II. Huge duffel bag, fabric in canvas, and when we made this design in with Paladin, I asked them to use not this fabric. That is a very Cordura traditional fabric, but I asked them to make the same design with the fabric of this bag. So I send the bag over there, I cut the bag, try to respect a maximum the bag because it's still like more than almost 100 years old, the fabric. So yeah. A little bit of tissue, well, a little bit of fabric was used and a little bit damaged, but he did an incredible job to make a replication of this one with the fabric. So like this, the bag have a new life.
Nice.
One for me and one for my little brother. So
Very cool.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about, you told me a lot about knives.
Mm-hmm.
So what's life for you outside of knives? What do you do for fun? What's your...
For fun, lots of stuff. Lots of stuff is around my kids, you know. I have 2 daughters. And when you are parents, lots of stuff turn around them. The house turn around the kids. So lots of stuff around that. A little bit of training when I can. I continue to work every time at the shop when I can. I'm working on my cutting edge, on my training on Eskrima and everything like this. But lots of stuff around the kids. For the
So does the screamer then comes back into the knife making for you?
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, all the time. It's like I explained, you can make martial blade without you practice martial arts. It's like building car without you have your driving license. You can't understand the concept. So, and we need to meet people and all those collaboration too. Every collaboration I made brings too much stuff. I think it's the most rich experience I have to meet some knife experts, some knife martial art experts, self-defense expert, resilient expert, and working with some team too, like SWAT, special team in France. That bring lots of experience, lots of history too.
Interesting. A lot of knife makers who are legends and are they've left a mark in the industry. What kind of mark do you hope to leave on the industry?
I would say really like, and I know I repeat myself, just specific dynamic, specific shape. I was and not only that, I know I'm not the best, but I'm not too bad to share my work on the way I communicate on social media. And like I explained, if that can open some door for some people who have skills but don't know how to sell those skills. I work a lot on different shows, and you see some people with crazy skills on the table and nobody around. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows their name. Nobody knows what's going on. And you see the blade and you are like, I need another life to know how to make this blade, bro. The quality is crazy. Why is not sold already? Why nobody know you? Or you talk about this name and nobody say, who? Mm. I was one of the first, and you can check on everywhere. I was one of the first French knife maker using social media in France to promote my work. I opened my YouTube channel, and I said that 16 years ago. 16 years ago is to talk about your work was in news and paper. We have like La Passion des Couteaux was the first magazine, and Excalibur was the other one. And here you have Blade magazine, you have everything like this, but and Tactical magazine or Tactical Knife, I think if I remember. And long time ago, if you were not on those magazines, nobody hear about you. It was just like, hey, you're talking around the table, but nobody hear about you. Today, you can be your own press, your own communication boss, and all the tools are here in front of you. I design my blade. I make my own communication and picture and video just with my phone. I edit everything with that. It's easy to do, and you need just time. Time is always the big enemy, I would say, for everything. But I would say that sharing the way I share my communication and my work, if that can give some print and my design, what I'm doing every day. Like I say, we are a lot in this market. So
for sure. Are you going to be going to the Paris show?
I'm not going to Paris show, but I have a table over there. So Bastien, with a shop in Paris, gonna represent us over there.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Will you have some of the customs over there and what have you?
They're gonna have a little bit of customs. They're gonna have a little bit of those bags, but like the same, it's another market. It's Paris, so it's we can't send too much crazy stuff over there. It's
Very
complicated.
nice. So, what made you pick Florida, coming over from Paris?
The weather first. I was tired about the real fall season, and spending Christmas in flip flop is really nice. It's a good experience.
Yeah.
And we have been there in vacation a few times. So we really enjoyed the place. We know some people, so it was really easy to come back here to build something here for the first time.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so, right outside Orlando, right? You say Kissimmee, right?
Yeah, Kissimmee. Yeah, Kissimmee is we are like close to the airport, Kissimmee, and yeah, that is where we build our Made in USA.
Yeah, easy to get a lot of direct flights out of there too. A little better than where we are.
Yeah.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Nice. Excellent. Cool. Well, thank you for coming onto the podcast.
Thank you for the invitation.
You're our first guest.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate you coming in and being our test subject, if you will.
Yeah, I'm glad to be the prototype.
You're a true prototype. You've given us a ton of insight into your creativity and how you bring these knives from the paper to the hand, and it's really interesting. I mean, I love a lot of what I heard. I like the idea of what you do with Play-Doh. I mean, just doing that to try to figure out ergonomics.
Yeah.
And I also like learning about emotion going into the art.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty raw and honest. It's pretty cool. So thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for everything. Thank you.
Appreciate you.